Kendrick Perkins, Big Perk, ESPN NBA analyst, and won a championship with the '08 Boston Celtics. He's got a new book. Kendrick Perkins shares a different side of himself. Powerful experiences certainly go beyond basketball, the reality of being black in America. The Education of Kendrick Perkins, a memoir now available online, wherever books are sold. Big Perk, good to talk to you again. Let me start with Damian Lillard. When, as a teammate, do you know when somebody is in the zone?
Probably after the first 20 points, and they see how efficient he is. But you could see it. You could see it from the jump. And usually, as a guy that played with 11 or 12 Hall of Famers, you could tell when they have it on their mind. You could tell when it's, give them the basketball and get the hell out of the way. That was one of them moments.
What was the moment that you had where somebody had that Damian Lillard night?
Well, you know what? I witnessed KD go off so many times. I remember in the Western Conference Finals against the Spurs, I believe it was game 6, I believe it was. He went crazy. I also witnessed Paul Pierce have those moments as well. I remember game 7, 2008 of the semifinals. He went crazy. And I watched LeBron do the same thing. So it was those times, man, where it was just like, while I saw Kevin Durant had 40 points and Russell Westbrook, I believe, had a 40-point triple-double in the same game, and it was just those moments like when you look and say, you know what, these are the reason that these guys get paid the big bucks.
Who do you got a beef with still that you played against?
Nobody. I'm a changed man since I retired, right? So it's funny because so many guys that I had beef with on the floor, it's like when you retire, you grow up, and all of a sudden you see them, it's like, man, I love playing against you. And you're like, oh, okay, I love playing against you as well. So it's not even beef. I'm going to tell you this. This is a funny story. Richard Jefferson and I actually hated each other on the floor, hated. And all of a sudden now, since we didn't start working in the same space for us in the media and working on shows together, our relationship has grown so close. I talk to Richard more than I talk to anybody else I didn't never played with or any of my friends. And it's just weird when you just had a connection when it's life after basketball, when you finish competing in between those lines.
Who did you like? What was the beef over?
We don't even know. That's the crazy part, right? We don't even know. And I think it all stemmed from like him and KG, and he was just like, you know what? I really just don't like none of those guys. And he just had this beef with me, and I could kind of tell. And it was just, the feelings were mutual.
Why'd the Celtics only win one title?
Because we wasn't healthy. That's the only reason. KG missed 2008, 2009 season. I got hurt in 2010. When healthy, our starting five never lost a playoff series when healthy. That's the only reason, because of health.
When you look back on what LeBron is going to mean to the game with the all-time leading scorer, and he's going to be top 5 in assists. I mean, the numbers there, Perk. I've said before, LeBron to me will have the greatest career of anybody, and I don't want to get in, comparing Mike to LeBron. If I had one game to win, I would take Mike. But if you look at the totality of a career, LeBron's resume is going to be the greatest resume in pro basketball history.
Well, I mean, first of all, Dan, I'm tired of talking about the GOAT conversation. To me, it's all about your preference, okay? Like, some people like to drink Hennessy and other people like to drink Ciroc. At the end of the day, it's still going to get you feeling a certain type of way. My thing is, when it comes down to LeBron, I agree with you on the greatest career. His career, far as his resume, is longer than a holiday weekend. I was able to witness, since the age of 13 years old, playing against him in AAU, playing with him in AAU. I was able to witness the build-up to his greatness, meaning I watched him as a 15, 16-year-old go to media training. I watched him while everybody in between games at AAU tournaments was eating McDonald's and he was eating fruit and drinking water. So I watched him get labeled the chosen one. I watched him get called King James. And I'll also say this: when it comes down to pressure, pressure, it's no athlete in sports history, forget just basketball, that was under the pressure of LeBron James and has exceeded expectations. Not one. Not coming out of high school, first ESPN game, the build up around it, everything and more. And he has exceeded expectations.
And you were there for peak Kobe. I just love these guys when you see it in their eyes. Like, man, I'm going to kill you. Every possession. Did you have interaction with Kobe?
Oh, so many, and it's two instances that I remember. It's two situations. One in 2010, Game 7. I was on the sideline, and what people have to realize is that whoever won the game in that series won the rebounding battle. In Game 7, I believe Kobe shot 6 for 24. But what people don't realize is that he had like 15 or 16 rebounds, and you could just see that he had to go in the paint and go grab them boards, and he was going to will his team to victory. Then I have another story. I was playing in Oklahoma City, and I switched out on Kobe, on the pick and roll. Now, I clapped my hands and I was like, "Let me see it." and he started. He hit me, with an in and out between the legs, cross in a pull up jumper, and I almost fell. And we was running back down the floor, and he was like, "All right, don't make me tear that other ACL."
I like that you were like, "Come on, bring it on." Like, that's the last guy. Him or Mike, those are the guys. You don't do that to them.
No, you don't.
No.
You don't. No. And he was the only guy that when we went through shoot around and preparation, it wasn't no, this is the game plan for Kobe. The game plan for the Lakers were let Kobe get his, because we knew he was going to be aggressive and counsel everybody else. That's the game plan when you played the Lakers with a Kobe Bryant.
Kendrick Perkins has a book out. It's a memoir, The Education of Kendrick Perkins, now available online wherever books are sold. Also, part of ESPN's Boston Celtics All Access this Wednesday, wall-to-wall coverage of the team, followed by the Cavs and Celtics at 7:30 Eastern. Wait, you're not doing this with the Lakers? I thought that it's required that you talk about the Lakers every waking hour, Kendrick.
I know, right? You should, hey, Dan, no lie, you should see me in those. You should hear me in those production meetings, man. It gets to the point where it get exhausted. Okay, I understand if the Lakers actually give us a reason to talk about them, but I tell them every day, maybe let's start off, let's talk about them in the E topic. Like, we don't have to start off every show talking about the Lakers.
But it feels like, Perk, that SportsCenter would talk more about the Lakers' comeback against the Mavs than what Dame did, scoring 71 against the Rockets, right?
Yeah, but I would say this. It's just the effect of LeBron James, though, Dan. That's the thing, right? Like,
yeah.
When LeBron was in Miami, we talked about Miami.
Yep.
Matter of fact, they had an ESPN Miami. When Braun was in Cleveland, they had an ESPN Cleveland. And I always say this, right? It's a difference. They have so this is the way that I look at it. For example, I look at you, guys that have done this whole media space to the fullest and have been great at it. I look at guys like yourself and Barkley and Stephen A. and, Scott Van Pelt. And I look at y'all and I say, y'all in the group of the powerful group. And then they have a popular group, right? Where you could just see them every now and then. You see guys on there like myself who just getting started, JJ Redick. We're popular now, but we're not powerful yet. See, powerful people moves the needle. And that's when it comes down to us seeing, us talk about the Lakers rather than talk about Damian Lillard because we're basically talking about LeBron James.
Yeah.
Like if LeBron James isn't on the Lakers, we don't talk about the Lakers that damn much.
Mm-mm.
If Kobe Bryant isn't on the Lakers, we don't talk about the Lakers that damn much. So that's the difference of actually being powerful.
The story that I'm going to take away from this book, The Education of Kendrick Perkins, a memoir. What's the one story that you want us taking away from this?
You know what? Then it's two. One, I will, I think every book has a starting point. And I think that's the hard part of actually writing a book, in my opinion, from learning. It was easy for me. I lost my mom when I was 5 years old. She was shot and killed by, quote unquote, one of her best friends. My dad was in New Zealand, never in my life. So I was taken in by my grandparents, my grandmother and my grandfather. My grandmother made $40 to $60 a week as a housekeeper. My grandfather made $350 a month as the janitor at the church. I grew up in the house that my great grandfather built, where the ceilings was 6'5". So by the time I got into the ninth grade, I couldn't fit in the damn house, and I had to go through so much adversity. I had to learn and search for security at times because my grandparents did a hell of a job. I loved them to death, but I was still searching for that security for us, just wondering, hey, if my mom was living or my dad was in my life, how would things be? And so my wife always tell me now, she's like, you don't really show too much emotions. Like we'll go to a funeral and she don't never see me cry. And I always tell her I don't have any more tears to shed because I've cried myself to sleep so many nights as a young kid. But I also would like people to take away from, especially, see, in the African American community, you get frowned upon if you tell someone or someone that you're close to, or maybe just friends, right? If you tell them, hey man, I'm going to counseling, I need help for my mental, you get judged and you get laughed at. So I shared my book about my experience when I was with the Oklahoma City Thunder in the off season, while I went down to Lawrence, Kansas, and I went to anger management for a month and a half. And I was in a classroom from 8 to 5 in the evening with these high-powered doctors that was also in there with me as well, from, getting in trouble in their respective fields, abusing their power. So I'm in there with anesthesiologists, spinal surgeons, you name it. And I learned so much being there for us, just learning how to, let things go, learning how to not put myself in certain positions, learning how to fast forward and think about, should I go to certain things or should I just stay home, so that I could kind of, not say foresee the future, but actually put myself in the right position. And so I share that story, one, because it's my journey, but I also share it to let people know that it's okay to go out there and seek help to protect your mental. So if you having a problem, like, go sit down and talk with somebody. Like, it's crucial. So those are the two messages. And the message as far as how my upbringing is, like, so many people stop when they hit adversity. Well, I've learned I got to figure things out. And I figure things out on the fly. I don't let it stop me in my tracks.
Good to talk to you, Perk. Glad you're doing well. Thank you, and good luck with the book.
Dan, thanks for having me on. I appreciate you, Legend.
That is Kendrick Perkins. The book is The Education of Kendrick Perkins, a memoir now available online wherever books are sold. Also part of ESPN's Boston Celtics All Access. That'll be Wednesday, wall-to-wall coverage of the team, followed by Cavs Celtics, 7:30 Eastern.